The moment everything changed happened in the middle of a quiet street in Chicago. Marcus Williams, a young black man, was walking home from his night shift at the diner. It was late, the streetlights flickered, and the city felt empty. Suddenly, a patrol car screeched to a halt behind him. Before he could react, Officer Daniel Harper jumped out, shouting, "Stop! Hands where I can see them!" Marcus froze, confused and scared. "What's going on?" he asked. Harper didn't answer. He grabbed Marcus's arm tightly and pressed him against the patrol car. His face was red, his voice harsh, and he glared at Marcus as if he had already decided he was guilty of something terrible. "We've had reports of a robbery in this area," Harper barked. "You match the description. Don't move." Marcus's heart pounded. He had done nothing wrong. Nothing. He tried to explain, but Harper didn't listen. Every word Marcus spoke seemed to make Harper angrier. Then, a witness appeared across the street. A woman had seen Marcus walking peacefully and pointed out that he was nowhere near the scene of the robbery. Harper waved her off, ignoring her. Marcus felt trapped, humiliated, and terrified. The passerby's phone was recording everything, but Harper's grip didn't loosen. Just as Marcus thought he might be dragged to the station, a sudden siren from another police car filled the air, startling Harper. He looked over his shoulder, and in that split second, everything changed. If you're watching this, you're amazing. Please subscribe to my channel. Hours before this terrifying night, Marcus had been living an ordinary life. He grew up in a loving household in the south side of Chicago, working hard to support himself. He had dreams, friends, and a routine that never involved trouble with the law. Yet, for reasons he didn't understand, he was now being treated like a criminal simply because of the color of his skin. Harper had a history too. Known for being aggressive on patrol, he believed he could always decide guilt before the facts. Most officers avoided him, but he had been praised in the past for getting results. That night, these two lives collided, and Marcus had no idea how Harper's assumption could change everything. As Marcus struggled to stay calm, the siren's wail grew louder. Harper's face twisted with frustration, and Marcus realized something big was about to happen that would decide their fates. The sudden siren caused Harper to release his grip slightly, just enough for Marcus to step back. A second patrol car pulled up, and Officer Jenkins jumped out, holding his flashlight. "What's going on here?" Jenkins asked, looking between Harper and Marcus. Harper turned sharply. "This guy matches the description of the robbery suspect. I caught him walking alone in the area." Jenkins shook his head, frowning. "Are you sure? We need to be careful. We can't just assume guilt." Marcus's heart raced. Relief mixed with fear. Maybe someone else could see the truth. Maybe the nightmare would end. But Harper's expression darkened. He clenched his fists and barked, "Step back, Jenkins. I've got this handled." Jenkins held up his hands. "Harper, we need evidence. You can't just grab someone because of how they look." A small crowd had gathered, drawn by the shouting. Phones appeared, recording every moment. Marcus could feel their eyes on him, judging, wondering if the officer's accusations were true. Marcus took a deep breath. "I didn't do anything," he said calmly, hoping reason would reach Harper. "I wasn't near the robbery. You can check security cameras, talk to witnesses." Harper interrupted, pointing at him. "You're lying. You always lie. Just stop talking before I make this worse for you." The tension escalated. People in the crowd whispered. Some shook their heads, thinking Harper had overstepped. Others stayed quiet, afraid to get involved. Suddenly, a man stepped forward. He had been jogging nearby and witnessed the robbery from several blocks away. "That's not him," he shouted. "I saw the real suspect. He ran the opposite way." Harper's face turned red with rage. He waved the man off angrily. "I don't care what you saw. I know what I saw, and this guy is my suspect." Marcus felt panic rise. He knew Harper was not going to release him without consequences. The crowd murmured louder, and the tension became unbearable. Then, a camera angle from a nearby security camera flashed on a phone screen held by a bystander. Everyone froze. The footage clearly showed Marcus nowhere near the robbery scene. Harper's face dropped. He froze for a moment. His assumption, his power, everything he believed, was unraveling. And just as he realized this, his radio crackled. The dispatcher's urgent voice made him flinch. Unit 22, backup is reporting the real suspect just entered a nearby building. Proceed with caution. Harper's hands trembled slightly. For the first time, he felt the weight of what his assumption could cost him. Harper's face paled as he processed the dispatcher's message. The backup confirmed what Marcus had been saying all along. The real suspect had been spotted elsewhere. The crowd's murmurs grew louder, some whispering about recording the scene, others glaring at Harper. Marcus, still trying to catch his breath, stepped back from the patrol car. His hands were shaking, but he tried to remain calm. "You see," he said quietly, almost to himself, "I didn't do anything." Harper looked around, realizing cameras, bystanders, and witnesses had all captured his mistake. His jaw tightened, and for a fleeting moment, Marcus saw something unexpected: doubt. Fear. The same fear Marcus had felt when Harper first grabbed him. Jenkins approached, shaking his head. "Daniel, you need to release him. This is serious." Harper's lips pressed together. He glanced at Marcus, who stood silent, exhausted, but not defiant. Then Harper made a decision. He radioed for his superior and reluctantly let Marcus go, although his pride burned. The crowd began dispersing slowly, some shaking their heads, others leaving recordings on their phones. Marcus rubbed his sore arms and looked at the broken tension around him. He had been accused, humiliated, and nearly treated as a criminal. But now, justice, or at least reason, had arrived. Still, the city's streets held an uneasy calm. Marcus walked away slowly, replaying the night in his mind. Everything that had been assumed, every stereotype, every fear planted by society, had been proven wrong. And he had survived not because of privilege, but because truth had finally been seen. Harper remained at the patrol car, his face pale, knowing this incident could end his career if reports reached the department. The weight of assumptions, biases, and misuse of authority pressed on him like a heavy stone. Later that evening, as Marcus returned home, he couldn't shake a lingering fear. Someone had captured every second of the encounter. Social media would not let it fade quietly. The truth had saved him, but the fallout for Harper and everyone involved was only beginning. If you're watching this, and you've ever questioned what justice truly means, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. The story isn't over yet. Just as Marcus entered his building, a notification lit up his phone. A local news outlet had already posted the video, and the headline made his stomach drop: "Officer accused of wrongful arrest after mistaken identity incident." Before Marcus could process it, a comment notification appeared: "This isn't over. He needs to pay." Marcus's hands shook as he stared at the notifications. The video of his wrongful detainment had gone viral almost instantly. People were outraged, some defending him, others questioning the police. But one comment stood out: a message from someone claiming to have insider information about Harper. Meanwhile, Harper sat in the precinct, gripping his desk. His fellow officers avoided eye contact. He felt isolated, exposed, and humiliated. The department's Internal Affairs Division had already been alerted. Rumors about disciplinary action swirled through the station. For the first time in his career, Harper realized that assumptions without evidence could destroy him. Back at Marcus's apartment, he replayed the video countless times. Each time, he saw Harper's anger, the unnecessary force, the disbelief of bystanders. It made Marcus's chest tighten, but it also strengthened his resolve. He would not be silent. He had witnessed injustice, and now he had proof. The next day, Marcus agreed to give a statement to Internal Affairs. Harper had been summoned too. The tension in the interview room was thick, like static in the air. Harper refused to look directly at Marcus, shuffling papers nervously. "Officer Harper," the investigator said, "you arrested Mr. Williams without evidence. Witnesses and security footage confirm that he was nowhere near the reported robbery. Can you explain your actions?" Harper's voice cracked slightly. I thought I was doing my duty. I matched the description. He was in the area." The investigator interrupted. "That is not enough. Your assumption caused Mr. Williams extreme fear and humiliation. Do you understand the severity of your actions?" Harper swallowed hard. The walls seemed to close in. He could feel his career unraveling. Suddenly, a phone buzzed. The internal affairs officer glanced at it and raised an eyebrow. "This just came in. Body cam footage from another officer shows your behavior during the arrest. It corroborates Mr. Williams' account." Harper's face went pale. He realized, in that instant, that there was no way to explain this away. The room went silent except for the faint hum of the fluorescent lights. And then the door opened abruptly. Someone from the news team had arrived, asking for a statement about the incident. Harper's heart sank. The consequences were no longer private, they were public. Outside the interview room, reporters crowded the precinct doors. Cameras flashed, microphones pushed forward, and voices called out questions. Marcus stepped back, his stomach twisting with nerves. He had never wanted fame, he only wanted fairness. Yet now, the story of Harper's assumption and his own wrongful detainment was spilling into the streets, into living rooms, and onto phones everywhere. Harper remained seated, his head bowed. Every flashing light outside felt like a judgment. His colleagues whispered to each other, shaking their heads. For the first time, he understood the weight of his actions, not just on Marcus, but on his reputation, his department, and the trust the public placed in law enforcement. Meanwhile, Marcus received messages of support from strangers online. People shared their own experiences of prejudice and wrongful accusations. His heart swelled with a mix of relief and sadness, relief that the truth had come out, sadness for the countless others who had not been as lucky. That evening, Marcus walked to the diner where he worked, trying to reclaim some normalcy. The streets seemed quieter, yet his mind replayed every moment of the arrest. He remembered Harper's anger, the crowd's reactions, and the instant panic he felt when hands grabbed him without cause. Suddenly, a figure appeared near the entrance of the diner, a man he didn't recognize, tall, wearing a hood, holding a camera. Marcus's heart skipped. The man stepped closer, whispering under his breath, "I've been following this story. You think it's over, but it's just beginning." Marcus tensed. He realized the danger of public attention. The more people saw the video, the more scrutiny Harper faced, and the more attention Marcus attracted, some supportive, some threatening. Before Marcus could react, the man lunged, knocking the camera toward him. The glass shattered on the sidewalk. People in the diner gasped, spilling coffee and dropping plates. Marcus instinctively moved to shield himself. And at that exact moment, Harper appeared behind the hooded man, his face twisted with anger and fear. The street erupted into chaos, leaving Marcus trapped in the middle of a dangerous confrontation. Marcus froze, his hands raised instinctively. Harper's sudden appearance made his chest pound. The hooded man stepped back slightly, startled, but his grip on the shattered camera remained firm. People around them gasped, phones recording every movement. "Stay calm," Marcus whispered to himself, trying to think quickly. But Harper didn't move like a regular officer anymore. He moved like a cornered animal. His eyes flicked between Marcus and the hooded man, full of panic and rage. Then, unexpectedly, a woman from the diner stepped forward. She was small, but her presence was commanding. "Stop this right now," she shouted. "You're making this worse." Harper hesitated, his hand twitching toward his belt. Marcus could see fear flash across his face, fear not of Marcus, but of consequences he could no longer avoid. The woman held her hands out, keeping a firm gaze on Harper and the hooded man. "You need to walk away," she said, voice steady. "Both of you. This isn't going to end well if you don't." For a moment, it worked. Harper backed up slightly, jaw tight, while the hooded man lowered the broken camera. The tension was thick, the street alive with the crowd's murmurs. Marcus exhaled slowly, realizing how close it had come to escalating further. The woman's intervention had bought them time, but Marcus also knew that Harper's assumption, his actions, had already caused a ripple that couldn't be ignored. Then, just as Marcus thought they might be safe, Harper's radio buzzed loudly. He glanced at it, and his face went pale. The dispatcher's urgent voice filled the air. "Unit 22, disciplinary action has been approved. Internal Affairs is en route. Officer Harper, you are to remain at the scene." Harper's eyes widened. Panic replaced his anger. He realized this was the turning point, the night his assumptions, his bias, and his actions would finally meet serious consequences. The crowd began whispering, recording, and pointing. Marcus felt a mixture of relief and dread. The situation wasn't over yet, but Harper's moment of control had vanished completely. Suddenly, from across the street, a vehicle pulled up. Its headlights cut through the night, illuminating Harper, Marcus, and the woman. And before anyone could react, the car door burst open, and someone stepped out with a camera crew. The street froze. Everyone knew this was going to be broadcast live. If you're watching this story, don't forget to share and subscribe. The shocking conclusion is coming. The camera crew's sudden appearance made everyone on the street tense. The bright lights blinded Marcus for a moment, and Harper instinctively raised his hands, unsure how to respond. The woman from the diner stood protectively beside Marcus, her posture strong and unwavering. The hooded man took a step back, clearly intimidated by the professional cameras and the growing crowd. Marcus realized that this might finally force Harper to face the truth publicly. The moment of exposure was here. A reporter's voice cut through the noise. "Officer Harper, can you explain why you detained a man without evidence? Millions have seen this footage online." Harper's face went pale. His jaw tightened, but he couldn't answer. His previous confidence, his belief that he could act without consequence, was crumbling under the glaring lights and the cameras recording every move. Marcus felt a strange mix of fear and relief. He had been wrongly accused, humiliated, and threatened, but now the truth was undeniable, visible to everyone. People in the crowd whispered, some nodding in support of Marcus, others shaking their heads in disbelief at Harper's actions. Then, the hooded man made a sudden move toward the cameras, but the woman quickly stepped in, pulling Marcus behind her. "Stay calm," she whispered, her eyes scanning the street. Harper looked around frantically. He could feel the weight of every phone, every lens, every witness staring at him. He knew disciplinary action was inevitable now. The internal affairs team was on its way, and there was no hiding from the consequences of his assumptions. Suddenly, the siren of an approaching police vehicle pierced the night. Harper's face fell further as he realized backup had arrived, not to protect him, but to enforce the investigation. And just as the vehicle stopped, a flash from a phone camera revealed something startling. Harper's badge and weapon were being questioned by someone in the crowd, and the video was already being uploaded to social media in real time. Marcus's heart pounded. The situation had escalated even further, and the consequences for Harper were about to become very public. The night air was thick with tension as the flashing lights of the arriving police cars painted the street red and blue. Harper stood frozen, his pride shattered, as officers approached to take statements and secure the scene. Every bystander's phone captured the unfolding events, each angle exposing his wrongdoing. Marcus took a deep breath, trying to steady himself. The ordeal was far from over, but seeing the truth come to light gave him a strange sense of relief. The woman from the diner stayed close, guiding him and keeping the crowd calm. Together, they were witnesses to accountability in action. One officer approached Harper, holding a clipboard. "Daniel Harper, due to your actions tonight, detaining a man without evidence, you are suspended pending investigation," the officer said firmly. Harper's face drained of color. His hands shook as he processed the words. He had never imagined this moment, never thought his assumptions could finally have real consequences. The crowd murmured approval. Some clapped softly, others cheered. Marcus's phone buzzed constantly with notifications, messages of support, news updates, and posts sharing the viral footage. For once, his voice mattered, and the truth had reached far beyond the street where it began. Harper was escorted away, head hung low. The reality of his actions weighed heavily on him, and he knew rebuilding trust would be impossible. The lesson had been learned the hard way. Assumptions without evidence, fueled by bias, could destroy lives and careers. Marcus looked around at the street he had walked through countless times, now transformed by the night's events. He felt a surge of hope. Fear, prejudice, and false assumptions were powerful, but truth, courage, and accountability were stronger. As Marcus walked home, the woman beside him smiled. "You did the right thing by staying calm and letting the truth speak," she said. Marcus nodded, thinking of the lessons learned. But before they could leave the street completely, a drone hovered above, recording every angle, capturing the entire event for the evening news. The city had witnessed the confrontation, and now the world would see it too. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to share and subscribe. justice and truth can inspire change everywhere.